All right, guys, this is the last week, week 4 of LinkedIn Pro. You guys have made it. So week 4 is all about organization. So at this point, you've gone through a series of training with the basic boot camp. You've now gotten to the end of LinkedIn Pro and you're generating a funnel. You're having conversations. At this point, you should have enough people that you're trying to figure out how to keep up with the follow-up. And if there's one thing I can underscore with LinkedIn, the number one place to succeed or fail is through follow-up. And what I have found is some of the biggest players on my team came only after a number of touches, really ultimately some of my success stories upwards of a year before the actual enrollment, and it was the right timing for that person. Because what you'll find is that many times people just aren't ready. It's not the right time for them at the moment. But if you're persistent in a professional way and you have the right follow-up method, you can meet them where they are when they're ready. Okay? So a couple of just logistical things. So today is going to be all about Asana training. I want to say first and foremost that, I don't endorse any particular organization platform. I'm just sharing with you the one that I use. I know there's a lot of great ones out there, like Trello. I know there's many others. And if you're already using something different, run with it. Maybe you can just take some of the core concepts if you're not using them already that I use in Asana for my LinkedIn business. So a couple of general housekeeping items. When you first get into Asana and probably any other customer tracking program, you want to make sure you actually do it on your PC. Learn from my mistakes. I tried to set up my account through my phone and you lose a lot of the functionality when you're on your phone. Now that's not to say there's massive gains from having the app on your phone because literally when you think of a random person that you want to follow up with, you can put it in your Asana tracking system on your phone or directly from a message on LinkedIn onto your phone. When you're setting up the stuff I'm about to share with you, you want to be on your computer, okay? Secondly, what I find from a productivity standpoint, once you get your Asana set up and you really get into some movement with recruiting on LinkedIn and inputting into Asana, dual screens can massively exponentially grow, like it can condense time for you is what I'm trying to say. What I'll do is I've got the Asana app on my daughter's iPad and I will, because I don't have dual screens in my office, I just don't have enough space. I take the little iPad and I can also take it anywhere on my back deck or on the couch, but I'll have the iPad with the Asana app open for my database for customer relations, right, or prospects, and then I'll have my computer up with my LinkedIn so that as I'm responding to my LinkedIn prospects, I'm instantaneously tracking where I am with them in the conversation, where they are in progress in conversation on my Asana platform versus trying to move screens back and forth on your computer. It'll slow you down. You may misspell people's names like I've done before, and then you can never find them again in Asana because you didn't spell them right. So that's a couple things. Lastly, there's a true follow-up formula. I'll just share with you my follow-up formula now, and then I will post for you my verbiage that I use in my follow-up formula in the homework assignment. I'm also going to post for you the funnel. I'm going to walk you through the funnel I created on Asana. Don't feel like you have to feverishly take notes. I'll put that funnel in like a Word document in here in Asana. You may, in the Kajabi training, you may want to pause this, go to the homework assignment and print that out and have it and take notes maybe, or just have it as reference as you watch me on Asana. Follow-up formula. So I follow the 2-2-2 policy, which you'll appreciate when you get really busy with LinkedIn. There is no way you can follow up. You can remember who you followed up when and when you need to follow up with them again. Because what happens is your messenger feed just gets so full that if you're relying on that for follow-up, you're going to run into a hot mess, right? So I follow up in 2 days. from their expression of interest or their attendance of an overview. With an attendance of an overview, I may even follow up in 1 day. If I follow up in 2 days, if I don't hear anything, I'll follow up again in 2 weeks. And then if I don't hear anything from then, I'll follow up in 2 months. And at the 2-month mark, I give them an out. I basically say, well, I'll give you the verbiage and the template. But at the end of the day, I simply say, hey, I don't want to be a nag. Just wanted to follow up one last time. Wasn't sure if this was a better time for you to take a look. If not, totally cool to take you off my follow-up list. I'll take your lead. That's exactly what I say. It's very casual. It's non-pressure. What I find is that people are going to go one of 3 ways. They're going to ignore you, and you know that it's just not a priority. You can take them off your follow-up list if you want, or make an extra column for absolute no response. Maybe you follow up with them in a year. I don't know. The second thing is they say, yeah, you're right. Take me off the list. It's just not a priority. That's great. You want to clean your list out. That's fine, right? The third is, and I experience this with a lot of people, is they don't want to be off your follow-up list. They actually are curious about what it is you have to offer. It's just not right timing for them. So they'll say, oh no, don't take me off your follow-up list. Follow up with me in a couple of months. Things are just crazy right now. And I will tell you, if you keep track of those people, I've actually gotten a good number of enrollments from those people, right? They realize the investment from a time standpoint of building a business, and they just want to jump in when they're ready, right? Now, that's not to say, depending on your company and your compensation model, you can't talk to them off the cuff about going ahead and joining as a consumer and gaining a position and accumulating volume until they decide to build. That depends on your company and if that's an actual real thing. If it is, you can talk about it. So I'm touching over here because I've got my heater on because I was cold, but now I'm hot. So let's see. So those are the general housekeepings with the follow-up formula. What I'm going to do is I'm going to dive into my Asana account. But what I'm going to do is at first just show you how to begin creating some organization in your account. Each platform is different if you don't use Asana. So I'm just going to get into the nuts and bolts of organizing in Asana. If you want boot camp, basic boot camp of how to set up an account with Asana, there's plenty of YouTube videos that you can pull up. That's what I did when I first got started, is I did a basic YouTube video to really set up my account. But you gals are smart. I think if you want to use Asana based off of what I share with you here, you'll probably be fine. It's just like Calendly or any of those other platforms that you get into. Okay, so what I'm going to do is share my screen. And I'm going to go to Asana. Actually, before I share my screen, let me tell you this. The whole purpose of what I'm about to show you is that I create a funnel of, it's even, I'll make the funnel this way because that's how it's going to look on Asana, where people start out as cold prospects. And as we start going through our back and forth based on their level of interest, what they've looked at, if we've had a conversation, I begin to move the tiles across the continuum. What you'll see over a period of 6 to 8 months, if you really hone in on Asana tracking and LinkedIn, you're going to see some some gratification of moving people across the continuum to enrolled or not interested. And it's really fun to see it happen and throw people in the bucket of enrolled, okay? So back to sharing my screen. Here. Go to Asana. Okay, so this is my Asana platform. Now, obviously, I have a lot of programs for organization, which you can lean on too, because I'm managing a lot of different stuff. But I am going to show you with Asana how to get started with making what I call a project. So your LinkedIn tracker. You can actually make a tracker for each social media platform. When I first started, and I may or may not show you guys my original Asana tracking sheet, because when I first got started, it became a convoluted mess because I was prospecting on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and then I was trying to put it all in one tile. And what happened was I would forget where I met that person, and it was really hard to go back and find them in that conversation on that platform. Now for me, it's been easy because I've aborted ship on recruiting really on Facebook or Instagram at all. But if you're recruiting on multiple platforms, you may want to set up 2 projects or 3 projects. You might want an Instagram project, a Facebook project, and a LinkedIn project, so that you know when you're following up which platform to go to find that person. It just creates efficiency in your process. So with Asana, when you set up your account, you're going to be able to create projects. And there's a couple of different ways you can create them. I'm going to show you how I prefer to create them and what it looks like. So you would click on New Project, and I use a blank template. You can use specified templates for different projects. Again, if you're an entrepreneur and you want to dabble with this for other things, you certainly can. If you have got a personal assistant and you want to delegate tasks to. But for this, we're going to talk about a blank project. So I click on the blank project. Now this is important. For the way that I am able to slide prospects across the screen and move them in a progression from cold to warm market to enrolled, I choose the board function because it creates a board, and you'll see in just a minute. So I'm going to call this project name LinkedIn Pro Demo, right? You guys may want to call it LinkedIn Connections, okay? Now, they already have named, they've kind of organized it like a project for you, what you need to do, what's in progress, and what's done. Here's the cool thing. You can change those tiles. So what I'd like to give you guys some examples of, and then I'm going to go to one that's already built out. So you're in board form. You can see, you can move these tiles over, right? You can shift them depending if you want to change the organization. And you can add into them. And I'm going to show you about all of this in just a second. So let me give you an example. So let me just take a step back. My funnel for my tiles start with, they can start if you, no, that's never mind. You guys are going to do different social media platforms. So I start with people that I've thought of. This is like super cold, right? So maybe in LinkedIn, it's need to reach out, right? So maybe this column is your coldest of coldest of coldest, because you've never even had a conversation with these people, but maybe they come through in your feed or it's a recommendation from LinkedIn and you're like, shoot, I need to reach out to that person. But maybe you think of it, but you're just not ready. You're not ready for the verbiage or whatnot, but you don't want to forget that person and don't want it to escape you. So you throw it into the need to reach out tile. So maybe it's girl from grad school, whatever her name is, right? Now, if you want to make sure to remind yourself to actually follow up with girl from grad school, and here's the cool thing. You put the app on your phone so that if you think of girl from grad school when you're in an elevator or at a stoplight in your car, you can actually add her on your phone at the moment you think of her, right? Now, girl from grad school, you're going to assign it to yourself. I have Blady in here because she's my assistant and she helps me with some other projects. But I assign it to myself. Okay, that way anything I put in here is going to give me a notification, right? So let's say I thought of her today and I want to give myself a deadline to reach out to her by Monday. Okay, so I'll say in this for, you know, just for the sake of giving you a demonstration, I might say reach out about the opportunity overview. Right? Now, I've assigned it to myself. I've assigned it for Monday, and I'm going to hit comment. Now, here's the cool thing. A couple things are going to happen here. Number one, you're going to get an email on Monday in your inbox reminding you that you need to follow up with her, right? Now, what happens when this gets really, really full is you'll get bulk emails of like 36. Hey, you need to respond to these 36 people, right? But it's a good reminder. Secondly, you'll see in a built-out form here in a minute that it turns red when you've exceeded the time to follow up. So I get really efficient with Asana and follow-ups, and even if there's red in there, I may sit down like once a week with my Mac and my iPad and have Asana pulled up on one side and look for all the red and do all the follow-ups on my computer through LinkedIn. Follow up, follow up, follow up. It's massively productive, right? Okay. So my first segment is I need to reach out. I've just thought of them, okay? And this is how when you just click on the title, it allows you to change the title, right? So in this one, the next step is maybe they liked or they commented on something in LinkedIn, right? To me, someone who likes or comments on something you've put in LinkedIn is slightly warmer than completely cold turkey, right? Completely cold turkey. And so maybe you made a post about entrepreneurship, time freedom, whatever. This is warmer than somebody randomly you thought of. And this is someone you can follow up with. Hey, thanks for the support in my post, blah, 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 blah. I'm not going to get into the scripts right now. You guys have them, okay? So again, let's say, I'm going to assign this to myself and say, maybe someone liked my post today. And I'm noticing maybe I'm cleaning out my LinkedIn for the week and seeing who liked and commented. I do that once a week as well. Again, it's just a productivity piece. Once a week on Fridays, I clean up. I go through all my old posts for the week in my notifications and see who commented and who liked. So maybe I went in today, so that means maybe by, I'll just throw a random date in here, Tuesday, I need to follow up, right? And so maybe I just want to give myself an update here and say, be sure to respond. Be sure to thank for support and hit comment, right? And you put that there. That little reminder is going to help you when you're cleaning house if you already have a tickler of like how you're connected, right? Of course, with this particular column, you already know that they liked or commented so that you don't have to put something in the comment section every time. I'm just giving you examples of how to use the platform. Quite honestly, I don't put anything in that section if it's in the liked or commented section because I already know like they liked or commented. So I already know I need to follow up and how I need to follow up. But the key is that it's there and that you're giving yourself a deadline of when to follow up. And on occasion, there may be something unique that you want to put in that comment section there, right? The comment section becomes more and more valuable once you get into conversation and you want to give yourself context of what's been in conversation, either through text or through a phone call, right? So, and I forgot to name this. So, well, we would name, and you can always rename, right? You can hit this little button, or you can delete, right? But you just click up here, and we'll just put Fred. So Fred, and then you just close it out. When you close it out, it'll change. It immediately changes it. You don't have to hit save or anything. All right. So the next piece of the funnel. So the next piece of the funnel might be that you reached out to them. So the next piece of the funnel is that they are interested in taking a look. So I might say interested in taking a look. Now this is different than already took a look, right? That's a whole nother step, okay? So you may have interested in taking a look. So maybe this week you used the scripts that I've given you guys to sift for interest, and this person says, yeah, sure, I'll take a look, okay? You're going to hit the plus button. Why is it not working? Having technical glitches here. So we'll say that Sam Smith said he'd take a look, so we'll hit enter, right? Now I can click on the tile. Sam said he would take a look. So in my mind, I'm going to go ahead and send him something because he said he was going to take a look. Again, this is all going to kind of depend on your protocol, but I might be sending him an invite for the overview the next week, or I might be sending him a recording depending on how long the gap is between the next overview. So let's say I send them a video because it's Friday, our next overview isn't, or let's say it's like Wednesday and our next overview isn't until next Tuesday. I might go ahead and send them a video today. And if I send it to them today, I want to follow up in 2 days, usually 2 business days. So I would say the 9th of June, right? And if there's a particular video I sent, I might want to say sent video on video with Joe Ames, because I have a couple of different videos depending on the prospect. If it's a male of a certain demographic, I'm probably going to share a story along with another male in that demographic, right? You choose your tool. But that reminds me when I follow up with him, like what I sent him. Of course, you're going to see that potentially in your feed whenever you respond to him anyway. But so he's interested in taking a look. Now, so where do you go next, right? So what's the next one? So the next one is, you've sent it, right? So the next one is going to be, they watched it, right? That you actually sent the information and you're waiting on their response to see if they took a look. So once they've agreed that they're interested in, and you can kind of decide how you want to organize this. If you want to make a separate column from interested in taking a look to info sent to your follow-up call, or you can condense interested in taking a look and info sent all in one. I'm going to show you guys in a minute my full flow, but I wanted to give you guys an example of how to do it from scratch first, because I didn't want my page to overwhelm you. But I think from here, you guys get the gist of how to start building out your columns. I'm going to show you now the full build and what it looks like in action. This is I've been doing some house cleaning. So from my Asana from the past probably 2 years it is so packed and full. I have actually created a new LinkedIn Asana tracking over the past probably 2 or 3 months. And I'm like cleaning house. So you guys are going to get to see the cleaned up version that I'm working on right now. Okay. So don't let this overwhelm you, because I know I've got a lot in here, but I want to show you guys what the process looks like when you play it full out, and how you can start moving people across the continuum and how you can search, okay? So following through with what I showed you a minute ago, I'm going to show you the full pipeline now. So need to message, so this is super cold market, to liked or commented, so getting a little bit warm, to they were invited to take a look. So ideally, well, let me finish showing you everything and then I'll go back and show you. So there's a difference, this is what I was talking about a minute ago. There's a difference between inviting, that you sent them a message and said, hey, would you take a look, to they actually agreed to take a look, right? And it depends on if you want to delineate that or not. Because sometimes you don't hear back, hey, would you like to take a look, and you never hear back. So maybe you want to separate that out from the actual people who say, sure, I'll take a look, because the people who say, sure, I'll take a look, they're a hotter market, right? Because they actually responded to you. So see all of these people who've said to me, yeah, I'll take a look, right? These people are clearly much warmer than the random person I thought of, right? Or the person that I invited to take a look. Okay. Now, this is an important column. I recently put this in here, and it's called follow up on a later date. So I have 2 or 3 people in here. The timing is just not right. One of them's opening up a new pharmacy practice. One of them is just going through just life circumstance, but they specifically said, please follow up in a couple months. So I'm going to follow up in a couple months. I've had people that I've followed up with in a couple months, and they've turned out to be really good. But you'll forget about them if you don't stay organized. All right. So then the next piece of the pipeline is scheduled 3-way calls. So do you have a 3-way call scheduled? They've agreed to take a look. They like what they see. And let's say Michael says, yeah, let's chat. So then this is the cool thing. See how I just click on the tile and drag it to the 3-way call section, right? and he says that he can make the call, right? So that's a really cool function that you can slowly slide people all the way across the continuum. So from the three-way call, there's a couple of things that can happen. You could, usually one of three things happen. From the three-way call, either they need to do their research and follow up, and you need to book a follow-up with them, give them some research to take a look at, or the second thing is you enroll them. So you simply slide the tile over here to enrolled, and you're good, right? They're enrolled. The third option, though, is that they're not interested. So you went through the three-way call, or I say three-way call, really it's just a call, a discovery call. I'm not sure why I put three-way call there, unless you're bringing in your upline to help you. So from that call, they need to do more research, you enroll them, or they're not interested. The other column I have is in progress. So what do I mean by in progress? So Lee actually attended the overview, and we have a call booked next week. So technically, I should put her right here. We actually have a call booked. Well, no, I see what I'm doing here. We haven't actually had the three-way call yet. We're in progress of connecting. So she's agreed to the connection. I just created this column because, and I'm probably overly organized myself, but she's already seen the overview. She's really interested. She booked herself in my calendar to talk next week. So in my mind, she's in progress. She's already seen the overview, but we haven't actually had the call yet. So that's a hot prospect right there, very hot in that column. Again, I might be over-organizing myself. And then the last column is not interested, right? They've discovered that it's just not for them, and that's fine. So the cool thing about this, and I'll use Laura as an example, is maybe I make a post this week and she likes it, and I move her over here because she likes her comments, right? And I send a response, I use the script, I reach out to her, and she says, sure, I'll take a look. So the next week I put her over here, right? She takes a look, I don't hear back from her, but my reminder in Asana reminds me to follow up with her. And she says, yeah, that she forgot to take a look, so, or even respond, sorry. And I send her the message, and she's like, sure, I'll take a look. So then you pull over here to agree to take a look, right? This is typical. A couple weeks go by, hopefully not a couple weeks, 2 days go by, Asana reminds you to follow up, you follow up and see what she thought, and she's like, yeah, actually, sorry, I got behind, but it's pretty interesting. You ask her if she'd like to discuss more, and she says, sure. So you bring her into a three-way call with your upline, right? From the call with your upline, she says she needs to do her research, that it sounds really interesting. So you invite her to take a look at some clinical data, research, economic numbers for your company, whatever. She is doing her research. 2 days go by, you don't hear from her. Asana reminds you. You reach out to her, hey, what did you think? She's like, very cool, how do I get started? You enroll her, you slide her over here, right? So this is the formula I use. This, I actually just created this new set of tiles this week, cleaning up my old LinkedIn Asana organization. Just for giggles, I'll show you guys how messy it can really get. Because this one I built out over a year ago. And it can really get ahead of you if you're not super organized, or you decide to take on an extra coaching business like I have. But what's fun is that when you go over to the far right and you see all the people that you've enrolled this year following this method, it's just a lot of fun to see the progress. So hopefully I haven't overwhelmed you guys. I'm going to go back to the new LinkedIn one that's nice and clean. It's like a fresh slate of like brand new. I need to go back to the people I have on my old one that I never had a conclusion from, and I need to bring them forward on this one. But honestly, my pipeline is so full with new people from 2020 that I've just been working with them here. My goal this week is to track who liked and commented so I can follow up. I personally, because I communicate with so many, I've stopped tracking this. You guys are welcome to put this here when you first get started, the liked and commented, because when I get a like or a comment, instead of actually going in and putting it into Asana, I'm just going to go ahead and reach out to them. I guess I'm making the assumption that they're going to respond to me. I think when you first get started, it's really great to track the likes and comments because you may send them a message and thank them, but they don't respond. And if you haven't tracked it, then you don't know to follow up with them a second and third time. So I think, do as I say, not as I do. I built this business by tracking the likes and comments over the past 2 or 3 months. I have not tracked them. I've just pursued the people who respond to my thanking them for the like or the comment. Because once you'll get to a pipeline that's that big that you don't even have time to chase down the people who aren't acknowledging the likes and the support, right? But we all start from our basics. So let me look at my notes, make sure I didn't miss anything. I think that's it, guys. So what I'm going to do is I am going to give you this pipeline in Word format so you have it to build out with Asana. I'm going to give you some verbiage on my 2 by 2 by 2 follow-up formula and how you can use that to be following up with people. And I think that's it. Our final call on Thursday, our Zoom, will be more of bring all your final questions to Melissa for anything. And as a reminder, if you are using a different platform than Asana, totally okay. Just use a similar formula, right, for follow-up that I'm sharing with you today. Yeah, so that's it. Well, so with that, guys, I will see you on our call later this week. And best of luck playing with Asana. It's actually a lot of fun for us organizational freaks.